Hello, digital equity activists. Happy Friday.
Yes. Okay, that's our main mic. And then for audience questions here in the room, I've got a second mic for the reporter if anyone wants to.
If we try this talk here, will the owl follow me?
It will not, because I'm doing it manually because it's my.
Oh.
It was fine.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Well, welcome. Go ahead and get started. Do you have the slide deck, Wendy?
Yes,
Are you in control of that?
I am, but
Okay. Well, great. Looks like we've got about 20 people on Zoom. We have 11 or 12 in the room here. You go ahead and click. We like to start off every meeting just to restate the vision and mission of the coalition and the members that gathered here. For every citizen and household in the Kansas City metropolitan area to have access to the internet, the equipment needed to use it, and the skill to take advantage. And our mission collectively is to facilitate collaboration among organizations and initiatives working to bridge the digital divide in order to maximize the resources for the greatest impact.
sorry, there's a delay.
That's right. The steering council for the coalition, myself, along with Gary Coogan, with Kansas Public Library, Tom Esselman with PCs for People, and Ina Montgomery with Urban Tech. Feel free to reach out to any of us. Suggestions, advice. We encourage everyone to join. We're going to talk a little bit today more about maybe asking some questions if you're not a member, or if you are a member, why not, and dig in a little bit more as we look to plan ahead for our programming content calendar for next year.
Yeah.
Our social media channels are all listed up on screen, so we encourage you to follow on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. We have Instagram, right? The agenda for today. So we do have a couple new members. Charities of Northeast Kansas City on the Kansas side and vocational rehabilitation. So we like to invite new members to do just sort of introduce their organization. So we'll have them, I think, in January and February of next year. And when we don't have new members, we usually will invite a current member to come up and talk a little bit about their organization. So we'll hear from Juan Tab with Arts Tech. And even though Arts Tech has been a member for a long time, Juan is new to the organization as of the pandemic. So not super new, but I feel like everything in the past 3 years is still kind of new. Especially when we're starting to get back together in person. So we will hear from Juan, and then Leslie and William and I will lead a few different breakout groups. We'll probably do one group here in the room and 2 online breakout groups. And we've got a series of questions to kind of help us understand how to plan our meeting content for next year, which is kind of the main thing that we do collectively and build some of the network. But also to ask about, how you want to help other coalition members and what you're looking for from other coalition members and a few other exercises. So we will get into that as kind of our main content, but I would invite Juan to come up, and I think she's got all of your slides baked into the presentation, so that'll help you to.
Hello, good morning. I'm Juan Tab, Executive Director of Arts Tech. I am very thrilled to be invited to present Arts Tech and what we're doing. Arts Tech, I can tell you, being a social worker and also a mental health therapist and advocate, I'm really focused on digital inclusion because lots of times access to technology can help educate about things that are going on with the individual, but also give access to resources that can help individuals get some of the support that they need. I can tell you that the difference between being digital inclusive and not is this. It's access. It's access. It's updated devices. It's the knowledge of what devices are comprised of. It's knowing that this 10-year-old has been used and used and used. The operating systems, the capabilities to connect online are challenged. And these are the things that our youth have access to, which we know that it's not cutting edge. We know that this does not further the efforts to catch up from COVID-19. And so digital, being a part of this organization and the effort means a lot to me because devices such as this is needed. We need updated devices. Youth need access to updated devices. There's been an effort to increase the capacity of schools by updating technology. And so, but it's not moving at a fast pace. It's just the slow trickle of funding that's put into that pot and dispersed out to schools. But more importantly, what happens at home? What happens when youth have access at school, but then they get home and they don't have access? And so these are some challenges that are is mindful of, but we're also always trying to plug in and see what's new, plug in partnerships. So I'll go ahead and start using the slides here. So Arts Tech mission is to better the lives of underserved youth through the development of artistic, technical, and educational skills. Arts Tech, thought I turned it off, but maybe not. Okay, here we go. Sorry about that. Technology. But anyhow, so development of art and educational skills. Arts Tech accomplishes this by operating a center of youth enterprise that provides educational health services, as well as hands-on training in fine art, digital literacy. Additionally, Arts Tech builds and manages collaborations, public and private partnerships that help empower communities. We serve approximately 1,600 to 2,000 Black, Indigenous people of color all over Kansas City and Jackson County and into Clay counties. We also serve youth in general. And so at-risk youth who are high flyers, youth that need mentorship and a small push so that they fly out of the nest, I guess. And so we're partnered with Jackson County Family Court, De La Salle High School, Kansas City Public Schools, and a number of Kansas City neighborhood associations. Full Employment Council, KC Parks and Rec, and the various Arts Tech youth development programs out in the community. The target population is 95% typically participate in free and reduced lunch programs. They come from, and so we're really serving an at-risk group of youth, at-risk groups of families. And what I mean by at-risk is accessibility to environmental justice, social justice, just all the various justice factors that are out there where our families are fighting and advocating for equal rights, but also equal access. So our programs, we have the Digital Connectors program, in which Arts Tech operates intergenerational digital inclusion project that train 15 school-aged youth to be neighborhood digital connectors. We use new technology skills to teach 250 senior citizens, or older adults, I should say. We taught internet, the Google Suite, mobile device navigation, email, Photoshop skills. We did this in a 10-hour training. This happened about 2 or 3 years ago, 2007, well, 4 or 5 years ago, 2017, 18. And we haven't been able to jump back into that space fully due to funding, due to COVID, due to a lot of factors. We have to go outreach youth, find youth, and connect them to tech, connect them to, the training and also the skills that they need to complete the task of rebuilding computers, of cross-training other youth and other individuals in the community. Not only this, but the older adult population, once we taught several of those individuals, they took that to wherever they live and they talked to friends and they passed the word on how important inclusion is, but also how to become empowered to enter the digital inclusion conversation. And so the program is based on independent research. What is digital inclusion? What are the problems and solutions that come about when we're not included in the digital space? Familiarity, terms. What is RAM? What is what is a USB port? What's a thumb drive? It's those kind of things that people in our community in certain corners, certain certain groups, they don't have access to the knowledge in order to succeed in the digital and technology space. We also taught collaboration. Collaboration means soft skills to approach, hey, how are you? How can I help you? What kind of skills can I help you to develop? And so it's all about assessment. We taught the youth elevator speeches. Hello, my name is Juan Tab, I'm with Arts Tech. And educating about digital literacy, but also helping you with any needs or any questions that you have in that space. What questions may you have? And so that's a 30-second commercial, that's gonna get us in the door to help us teach personal skills. Teamwork. We deal with, Arts Tech is very involved in anti-violence movement. We're also involved in youth empowerment, and teamwork is one of the perfect factors of anti-violent efforts, if you believe that, because when we sit in these groups and we do training, those youth are learning how to collaborate using tech with other individuals who may be from different parts of the community. For instance, we have youth who might be from 39th Street, and traditionally, I'm just using this as an example, I don't know if it's true, but we have youth that may live on 39th Street, but also 39th Street youth might be in conflict with youth from 75th Avenue, I don't know. But in bringing these youth together, we're teaching two communities to bridge the gap, and maybe that teamwork will help us with anti-violent efforts in the future, because it's all about word of mouth. Oh, people, my homeboy that lives on 75th Street, he's cool, he's all right. I work with him at Arts Tech. We learn how to recondition laptops, desktops. We help sell those laptops. And so we're also teaching youth how to troubleshoot, but advocacy. We're advocating, and we are helping youth advocate for others as well. And we teach, how does this apply to your life, digital inclusion? And the whole premise and the whole goal is to take hand in hand and walk with youth, walk with older adults, walk with the community to the path of having the knowledge to know what they need in the digital inclusion space. And so we can't empower youth or communities, but we can walk with you to the path. And you walk the path to the space that you want to be in. And so the digital connectors, we taught 5 competencies. And so those competencies are independent research, working to figure out, like I said, digital inclusion, but also adaptation. This is adaptation. Trainees and youth trainers, we want you to adapt what they've learned at a higher level so they can join this movement. So in bridging the gap, Arts Tech does computer redistribution. we recondition, we market. After we recondition those devices, we take them to the market and we teach enterprise through digital inclusion. We teach you how to recondition these devices, use their 30-second elevator speech to sell these devices, and that may keep you from looking for alternative ways to make money. Arts Tech gives you the money that they deserve from selling their products. They did the work. We taught them how to do the work, but they did the work, so they should be compensated. So that's the entrepreneurship piece. And so that's what we're about. We use digital arts, flyers, brochures, fiber arts. You have to use tech in fiber arts, which means when you are embroidering shirts, you have to use various different programs, various different devices, and then the actual. And so we give the devices, the youth are able to take the devices, they're able to train, research, they learn the parts, they learn to troubleshoot. They learn how to get others to the point where they can access those devices. Now, inventory, we teach you to manage devices, forecast needs. If you're working on several laptops or several desktops at a time, what do you need to push those things to the finish line? And so the inventory piece, these are just skills that are marketable. You go out to work for an IT firm, or you go out to work for a tech firm, you already know some of the expectations of that position. And so with our employment and training program, we are putting you through a program to teach them marketable skills that set them up for success in the short term, but hopefully in the long term. So Arts Tech vision is everything we do. Imagine a community where digital inclusion is the norm. A place where all Kansas Cityans, youth, young adults, older adults, have access to the basics, stable internet, access to information, and the ability to help close the gap within the realm of digital literacy. Youth, they are the most powerful individuals to carry messaging because their impact, they are already plugged in with other youth. And as a parent, and as a professional, I can tell you when someone asks for help, my ears tend to open and I tend to zero in on what they need help with. And that's all about closing the gap, figuring out where the needs are and addressing those needs. Now, we, as I mentioned before, we work with overlooked youth. We work with youth who are involved in family courts, who are having things adjudicated, or they're not in touch or not engaged in school. The youth that don't have suitable devices, lack of knowledge. We present and have the youth focus on the solutions. Staff needs. There's about 2 years ago, family court needed devices, laptops, but also hotspots due to youth not having access to those things at home. You have access at school, but not at home, like I mentioned before. And so it's just all about getting those youth the abilities to access technology. I can tell you as a social worker in St. Louis, during COVID, with my mask on, of course, I went to students' homes, knocked on the doors, and I asked, do you need a hotspot? Now, we ran out of hotspots in that school district because there was such a need. And so my thing is, we as adults, we as professionals, we in this field, we understand the need, but how isn't that resonated to those who are in charge or those who make the decisions about funding, what they fund? And so we just, we need these at-risk youth, at-risk families to be connected. And I happen to believe there would be a reduction in violence, a reduction in familial needs as far as research, as far as education, as far as their furthering their lives in a successful way. Now, train the trainer. So we have individuals that know technology, they know how it, but things are constantly changing. Things are constantly changing. So ongoing development is needed, and we actually work with the family courts staff, and we also work with the youth to learn those aspects of what it means to be included in a digital space. And so, education centers, regional, we need to have a tech drop-in center. So that's what was created in Arts Tech. Family court, you need a place to take you to do work to get caught up, to use various educational programs. Come to Arts Tech. We have space, we have the devices, and we want that group of you to be included. So we are an education center, we are a drop-in. So partnerships and proposals. Arts Tech does have corporate donors. We were donated 700 updated devices to use with the youth, to use for fundraising. And so those devices, they're on pallets at Arts Tech. If we take them out, we take them, we'll take 50 out and we'll work with 50. And those 50 reconditioned laptops are ready for sale if someone needs it. And so there are cases where, depending upon the need, we may donate some of the devices as well. This is a component where our youth are incentivized to learn about what it is to be included in the digital world. Now, we do partner with PCs for People. We donate, or we work with them for hardware. If we have devices that we no longer need, we call PCs for People. They either recondition the computer or they take the components and they recycle them. So digital inclusion has a lot of different facets. So we also work with the Full Employment Council, which that organization, they're in touch with families. They know what youth need. They know who's walking through their doors for, to be employed. And so as a work site for the Full Employment Council, Arts Tech has some capacity to help those individuals in-house with the professional tech. And so Arts Tech does community advocacy, and our venue is there. We have 24,000 square feet, our building, we own it. And we would love partnerships. We would love organizations to come in and utilize our space for educational components, but also use our space for partnership. And so, our community relationships, Arts Tech has been here for 30 years. And so if there's something we don't know in the tech space or the digital inclusion space, we probably have a partner that can help us out. So, yeah, these partnerships between places, PCs for People, Full Employment Council, and Arts Tech, these are the things that funders are looking for. They're looking for partnerships. So while places for PC, they have the hardware, expert techs, and corporate partnerships, the Full Employment Council, they have individuals who are in need. And Arts Tech has the community advocacy piece to advocate for youth and families to connect them to PCs for People or connect them to the Full Employment Council. I think that's what funders are looking for, because no one organization can move the needle on their own. And I think a lot of organizations take it upon themselves to do so when you have partners who can help. And so that is my aim as the executive director of Arts Tech, is to hit the streets, find out what those partnerships are, because if you can't help, maybe we can. How coalition members can help. We need access to funds, but that's obvious, everybody does, right? But we want to be able to employ youth to do the work. Youth want money, they want compensation. And so if we're paying a stipend to youth, that motivates them to come to work. My paycheck motivates me to go to work, but also above all else, helping is the second, it's the first thing, but sometimes you need a little, you might want to buy some Twinkies or something. I don't know. But we also need access. Arts Tech can use tech professionals, training, mentorships is the big thing. Link us to schools, link us to city, state, and local governments. Give us some access, help us to get some access to that software and licensing. We're a small organization, medium-sized organization. But sometimes we can't afford those licenses. Sometimes we have to use each other as account on some of these, on some of the programs that we use. We would also ask for continued support, advocacy. I'm here, everyone's here for a reason. Let's continue to advocate. Let's bring awareness to individuals to let them know tech is the ultimate factor in bridging communities, bridging individuals to education. And so how can we not partnership? How can we not ask for those things? Because that is the foundation of digital inclusion in the youth space. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions for Juan before we move into our discussion portion? All right. We'll try to go between in-room and on Zoom.
Thanks, Juan. I was wondering, you're one of our KCCDI Tech partners,
Yes.
and I'm just so inspired by your instructor. I was wondering if you could talk about him a little bit and how you selected him and his experience.
That's a great question. Our instructor, he's a young person who participated in our employment and training program. And so that program is instrumental in teaching computer skills, teaching how to do, how to master Google Suite, how to work with Microsoft Suite. And so, he showed interest in that area. And when the opportunity came, we decided, we partnered with him to train, be a part of this program. Now, this specific individual, he's a young adult in his early 20s. And he doesn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do with his life. We still help and mentor, but he's finding his way doing these trainings. It gives him a sense of purpose, but also a sense of confidence because he knows that he can do it. And so youth that may not have, or young people that may not have had success in a school setting, we want to provide a safe place where you can express, where you can ask questions, where you can learn. And he is the poster child of that. He is the example of that because someone took a chance. I'm not saying that he didn't have skills here and there, but right now he has a responsibility for his training. He has a responsibility to keep up with the educational components of his training. He shows the skills to come to work, soft skills to say hello, into trouble because he's with us. He's engaged, he has something to do. The responsibilities that he has, he knows that there's no one else or anyone else at Arts Tech that can do what he does. And so when he comes into the office every day, his head's hot, his chest is out, and he wants to share details about a class that he has or a class that he had. He has a group of family court youth that he's working within these trainings. He also has a group of older adults who participate in the trainings as well. He does 2 or 3 sessions a week, if not 4, and he hasn't lost any participants. So he's doing something right, and so it's helping these individuals learn skills that they want to know, especially older adults. I know that my parents are in their 70s, almost 80s, and they are lost when it comes to using iPhones and understanding how you flip through screens, close the screen. And so it's just those skills that take some of the stress off of that group, but also in our trainer's case, he's learning a skill that will propel him to success in the future. And after he finishes these trainings, we're going to link him to PCs with people so he can learn harder. And so he is going to learn these skills that's just going to push him, motivate him, but also allow him meaningful employment, because after he learns these programs and becomes certified, and after places for people give me a thumbs up, we're going to hire him as our full-time tech. So This is a great story, but this is also a story of empowerment because that is our goal. We want to take youth, young people, older adults by the hand, walk them to the path and say, hey, you take the ball and you run it to the finish line. And so that is our aim and focus with our trainer.
And what was his job before he became an instructor?
He is our maintenance tech, our custodial tech. And so it's not taking a chance on him. It's walking them through to a different avenue so that he can excel. And I can tell you, being a trainer, I'm starting to clean these toilets month before I'm putting them out because that's what we do. So.
All right, thank you very much. Another big hand for Juan. So we're gonna do a hybrid facilitated session. I'm sorry, Simon, I forget how much it messed me up by walking. It's much easier for the camera if it wants to. Wendy, can you just, we'll go through and show people on Zoom and in the room here, the slides, just so you can start thinking about these questions, but we just got a couple high level things. I'll open up breakout rooms in a minute, but you know, while you're here, kind of get some feedback on both our meeting format. We're sort of exploring this hybrid, you know, how much in person we do, how much online we do, what the trade-offs are. Content, you know, we've got 12 meetings that we plan a year, and we want to make sure that we're bringing content and presenters and structuring these meetings in a way that you find useful. And then, you know, in the spirit of kind of our mission, which is to support one another in this work, you know, we want to think about what, or have some discussion around what you as an organization are offering when you come to these coalition meetings and you meet other members. What things you want them to know and that they can take advantage of that you do, what sort of services and products that you kind of bring to the table, and then also what you're looking for when you come to this. What are some of the specific things that you are looking to get from other members? And finally, we'll end the discussion just on kind of your overall priorities as you head in to next year, looking really, you know, specific to digital, where we want to focus that conversation, but also a little bit on what your broader organizational goals are as well. So we are going to go into breakout rooms. We're going to open those up in just a second. There's about 7 or 8 people in each of Leslie and William's breakout room online, and then those of us here in the room can go around the table. This last part will be not as interactive, but what I like to do it is maybe take 40 minutes or so and come back at 11:45. And so William and Leslie, we can kind of, you can either do it or find someone in your group who wants to share, so that we can reconnect for 10 or 15 minutes at the end. Any questions? Uh-oh. Oh, here we go. Okay. Did you open the rooms?
Yes.
So you should have it looks like my room assignments got wonky. Can you undo that? I'm gonna close the rooms and redo this. So give me another second, because I've got to redo the slides. Okay, you should have gotten an invitation to a breakout room with 5 or 6 people in it. And those of us in here, so Leslie's gonna have a table over there that she's gonna facilitate online. We're gonna come over to this table here. In the back, those was the room. Wendy, I think I just made it left here,
Okay,
so that you guys would be.
okay, good.
y'all still here?
to you. Is there somebody from your group who wants to share? I know we've only got like 5 minutes left, so we'll do these quickly, and we want to make sure we get to our community announcements. So maybe just a minute.
If somebody-
or two on high level.
If somebody in our group wants to unmute and share, we can call on people.
Oh, well, if I didn't say I do identify someone, if you didn't, I'd say you just go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Oh, right.
Thanks. So I think as far as it relates to why people come, it's really about information sharing and networking and learning more about what's happening. It seems like it's a great place for people to just engage with others in that community of practice around digital inclusion. So that's what I hear the most, I think. As far as the meeting format, you know, people were really highlighting the flexibility that the Zoom option brings, and you know that if you do have meetings before and after, that travel time can inhibit you being able to participate in the meeting. So having the Zoom option and the flexibility to do that was really convenient. But that there just seems to be a little bit of something missing in the virtual option still, even though we can engage in the chat and that sort of thing. But it is a step up from our live streaming that we had originally. And as far as favorite meetings, a lot of people liked today's presentation a lot. We didn't know a lot about Arts Tech. We learned all the great work they're doing, and was really inspired by their mission and programming. And had some great ideas about what or who we could invite. Sean Brown with the Kids Health Foundation suggested that another one of their awardees, Hinjunso with the KU Center for Digital Inclusion would be a great presenter, as well as just hearing from Marcella Ochio and Dr. Reinsmith, maybe our city managers, hearing from Essential Families because they're doing telehealth, and the data analysis that William Crumpler is doing on our team for all ideas. Also, there was a bit of conversation about making sure that federal money is spent equitably in good ways, as well as trying to facilitate some collective impact around the members, and you know, maybe just more of a focus on telehealth in the future, as well as using the Missouri Broadband Resource Rail a bit more, and just a focus on collaboration in general was part of our conversations.
Great, thank you. So I'll quickly recap. We had the in-person group here at the library. So a lot of similar comments, a lot of value just in terms of the networking, the community, the information sharing is really what people have seen value in. There is appreciation of the flexibility and the extended reach of hybrid, that same sort of sense of something a little bit missing. And also a good point I thought that Ron made, that it's a little bit of a chicken and the egg thing, because you kind of need the critical mass of people actually in the room to make it worth coming down to be in the room. So that's one thing that we'll kind of work through. It was interesting that there weren't a lot of content sort of presentations that stuck out. It was kind of, you know, it was pretty diverse, kind of like you had a long list and some different stuff came up. But I think it underscores the connectivity and the chance to meet and network with other people who are doing work here in Kansas City has got value. And we had some other stuff that we'll get to, but those were sort of what I felt like the high level takeaways were from our group.
The broadband meeting,
Oh,
the importance of being part of the.
yes, and so then there was a the broadband meetings that Mark and the broadband office held the past couple days, and kind of the points of lessons made around the federal money and how well it's going to be spent, and the ability to collectively advocate for that work. And then we also talked about just the ability to share programming and resources better between each other, and that was good feedback. William, how many? What are we at? 11:57. 58. Can you do it in 1 minute, William?
I can go very, very quickly. Yes. So yes, I think a lot of echoing in terms of the value of being kind of particularly about getting updates about new resources and programming that are relevant to clients. Broad agreement that, you know, the in-person networking is great, but because of the logistical difficulties, definitely attendance would decline for fully in-person events. So appreciate the flexibility of virtual. In terms of ideas about kind of next, 2023, a lot of focus on wanting to hear from foundations and other funders about opportunities coming up for work in this space, more presentations and more clarity about federal funds and state funds that are coming up for all of this, kind of continuing to make that process a little bit less opaque. We had discussed the possibility to do more with opportunities for more kind of focused breakout sessions with people who had very similar roles across different organizations to share resources and tools. So a little bit more specific there. Creating ways that coalitions could support members by creating repositories of resources, flyers, things that could be passed out that would allow a lot of these presentations to then immediately be able to be used and kind of spread by people for their own clients. Interest in really evaluating the question of how we as coalition members are gathering data and how we can do that more strategically and use that across the coalition. Thinking about ways to kind of target people at strategic moments, like when they're at the bus stop or at DMV, with places where the relevance of being able to be online would be particularly relevant, and being able to get at digital inclusion that way. And then finally, some thoughts about maybe trying to extend the mission to not just trying to help promote digital inclusion for individuals, but also think about the needs of community organizations that maybe have their own tech problems, kind of need some digital inclusion help in order to really serve their clients, and thinking about how that would fit in with the mission of the coalition. So yes, that's a very quick attempt to summarize.
Thank you very much. Leslie, I know you have one announcement.
I do. So we have a digital equity activist workshop coming up on November 18th. And there is an Eventbrite link that we put in the agenda, I believe. Is that right?
Is it a slide deck? I don't.
It's like, well, we'll send it, yeah, we'll send that out as a follow-up. So it's really about, let me just bring it up. It is about bringing the community of practice together to share information and co-work designs about creating a toolkit that is going to address the 3 legs of the digital inclusion stool. I think I'll just leave it there. So we'll have a Zoom link, and you'll be able to. This one's going to cover technology options for affordable access, portable devices, and digital training options. So look for that.
Great.
It's at the Kauffman Foundation, or with an online option too. So.
Look, I think Tony said it's going to be in person at Kauffman Foundation, but there will be a hybrid online.
Yes.
Oh. Our next meeting is going to be just networking, no content or presentation. We will be in person. I don't think you will be able to access the food or the beverages virtually. So please join us in the Hellsberg room here at the Downtown Library Thursday, December 8th at 4 o'clock. Any other announcements before we sign off? As always, feel free to send those to any of us. Maybe Leslie, me, Gary, William, Ina, Tom.
Oh, hey, Aaron, I have one. I'm sorry.
in advance. Rick, do you have something to close us out?
Global Entrepreneurship Week, November 15. I'm hosting a digital equity for emerging entrepreneurs and informal entrepreneurs session at iWorks. Might check that out at GWKC.
Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody. Have a great day.
Thanks, sir.